P.
Greetings.
Wagwan, brother.
Uh, I'm here now. Good
Well,
day to your listeners.
let me officially congratulate you, sir, on
Thank you.
your overwhelming victory. The victory will mash up the world. The victory that shocked the world, mash up the world. They didn't believe.
Yeah, but Portland did.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations again. And also congratulations on your appointment as the shadow minister in charge of human rights and youth. Before I can
Yes,
even
thank
talk
you.
to you about East Portland, Isaac, a man was just on the phone. May actually cut him off to talk
Yes.
to you because he's upset about the opposition stands or the opposition voice on the unaliving of that young man down there in Cherry Tree Lane in Clarendon. And
Hmm.
that the PNP didn't have a press conference and vex about it. You want to speak on that first before we get to East Portland?
I'll start by saying that it's every single instances of the unaliving of a youth, of a Jamaican citizen that everybody should be upset about. What one must remember is we are just coming out of an election and the unaliving started from January and the numbers and the bodies, the count is very high. What we really need to do is realize that it is the government that there should be a response for in terms of just allowing extrajudicial killings to take place and the basic response is let it come out in the wash because unfortunately, especially for the Cherry Lane killing, the young man won't come back alive and we see the evidence that is clear that um, it was a killing that cannot be justified under any circumstance. So what people need to understand, and everybody should be upset. Everybody in Jamaica should be upset, which is why the tone of the social media space is silent, especially those gadflies who like to criticize and shut up on the issue of body cameras. There's an integrity issue and an honesty issue that we can deal with, but a press conference will only be a repetitive cry by whether it be opposition, whether it be NGOs, Jamaicans for Justice to call them out. Um, it won't change unless the people of Jamaica accept that extrajudicial killings is wrong. And it has become a plague on our society, which I don't think that we should allow it to continue throughout the end of the year so that somebody can boast about statistics of a low murder rate because murder is murder at any level. Whether it's done by the police or done by the bad man or the gunman or the jealous lover or whatever it is, it's murder. And
You
in fact, the laws of England makes it clear that there's no distinction. The case is called RV Clegg. A law enforcement officer gets no better treatment for murder or it's classified as anything else. And so we just need to do the public sensitization, public education to understand that we want justice, but this is not the way. This is not the answer.
how does the opposition spokesman on human rights deal with
Yes.
this from here on in?
Well, certainly, well before even getting, I like to say this, being a spokesperson of human rights is just a formality. My entire life, work, and my advocacy is always about human rights. What I will say moving on from here is I will use the platform to educate my counterparts in parliament and as well continue with public education because what happened in Cherry Lane is a human rights issue. It's a breach of the right to life. It is one of the most fundamental human rights that we have and we need to respect every single right. And if there was a respect for human rights, especially by not all, but some actors in the JCF, we wouldn't be having a conversation about a caller being upset of the silence of persons to speak out against something that is fundamentally wrong. So certainly, what I won't do is inundate the public with press release every time you see an extrajudicial killing, but to work to ensure that one, the body cameras are used, not just for traffic offenses, but the more serious ones, and to have an appreciation that the public should be suspicious when there is a resistance to wear it, because it is for the public safety and also for the protection of the officers to justify.
That is the thing, Isaac. We
Yes.
see where the police are not wearing the body camera, but at the same time, we don't see enough drive from legislatures, and not just your side, but the government side, who have the authority to implement policies. And it ought to be a policy decision to ensure that the police wear these body cam.
No, so so here's the problem. The police officers are wearing body cams. They wear it for traffic stop. I have a case in court right now, and I can play the video of the traffic stop. And we know, and we, through these body cams, we can see where officers just fly. So the danger, so I will submit, and until they do otherwise, that with the lack of use of body cams is because it poses an integrity issue and excuse issues when things are untoward. And we are saying, because I can tell you this, there are more members of the JCF that is above board and have the highest integrity than there are the few ones that you need to weed out.
Totally agree.
If there is, like in the past, if there is a death squad, we need to know. Because a lot of these times, these officers aren't from the police stations in the places where these things take place.
But how can the government convince us now, though, that there aren't a death squad? People believe that there is a death squad.
So the problem is this. I'm not going to sit here and throw blame on government, but to say that if there are state actors that are complicit, it's something that we need to know. And in the past, we've had a death squad. I think there has recently been an appeal. I don't want to misquote the name of the man. I don't know if it's Chucky or something, but some appeal in relation to testimony about being a part of a death squad, an appeal being turned down. In the past, there has been a death squad, and Amnesty International have in the past punished police officers and their families for participating in police activity of that nature. All I am saying, and Zolika Jess is the best person to have the conversation. She is the Shadow Minister for Justice to take that on. Yeah. But in relation to the human rights aspect, I will always take this tone and this position, because in the same breath, and I've said this to young police officers all the time, don't get boosted up because the force itself will discard you. When you are before the court and convicted, they will say you are a bad apple. So the best thing to do is to operate with the highest amount of integrity and understand that life is something given to us without knowing we are to receive it. Respect the Constitution, respect the human rights of the citizens. And that's the position that I take. And I don't think that in any functioning society, any government official should take a different approach.
Isaac, I'm not going to keep you here and talk about your ministry straight. But
yes,
I have to talk to you about East Portland, because this is a warming interview for my listeners and viewers, and I tell you why. Before the death of Dr. Bloomfield, I used to be at Styles, and on a random Saturday morning, I could have just pick up the phone and call the MP and talk to him. Since 2019, I haven't spoken to a member of parliament for East Portland for some reason or the other. So having the member of parliament for East Portland on the line for me is a joy. Isaac, talk to us a little bit about your campaign and East Portland and the victory.
Well, I must say, we ran a very, very vigorous campaign. It would be reminiscent of many of the books, but I won't call them out because the other side, even though some of them can't read, them like to go hear about what is in those books. Anyway, but I must say that they say teamwork make the dream work.
Yes.
I'm happy to say that we did bring home fellowship. Congrats to you as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And we did well in other areas too, especially those that wasn't ours. Mansion Hill, we really came in, and there were some significant areas in the Ferry Hill division that really show up for us.
Yes, yes.
But that aside, there was a view that I was not living in Portland, but that is media. The reality is I was living there and my opponent wasn't.
People don't know that.
And no, but a lot of people don't know that because they think that a 5-minute TikTok video is sufficient to say that you are interacting with the people.
And when I tell people them that they don't live
issues
here,
running rampant all across Portland. Met with Water Commission, very good meeting. Some pipes were fixed immediately in the Prospect Division. We are still identifying those areas, but knowledge is power, they say.
yes,
There is a drought. So Manchaniel is feeling it. Some sections of Ferry Hill, as it relates to fellowship, where the bulk, the source of the water is the Rio Grande Valley. I know you know that. That's where water is. Everywhere else is a problem.